Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on the 2022 film X. Now, X is meant to be a 2022 slasher film, and this is something me and my roommate Kev watched when we had our drink night together. And I know usually I review horror or slasher films during October, but I wanted to make X a special exemption because, one, much like Brightburn, it definitely knew what it was trying to be. So the premise of the film X is meant to take place in 1979, where we kind of see how a group of adult filmmakers journey out to a Texas ranch to film their next pornographic film. Now, the point of each character is meant to have a typical horror trope or kind of thing about them. Like, yeah, Mia Goth playing kind of Maxine is meant to be this young, inspiring adult film actress. And when you kind of got Gina playing Lorraine, she's kind of going to be the newbie to the group. And when you've also got Brittany playing Bobby, I think her character is going to be more of the experienced member. And when you kind of got Jackson, he's kind of the guy who is the expert, but kind of knows who he wants to be. And when you've got Wayne, he's obviously meant to kind of be the guy who wants to make the film, and RJ kind of being the nerdy kind of guy there. And I think it taking place on a Texas ranch does work, as it goes back to the typical days of old 70s predictable horror, and the horror where, where you know what's going to happen, and you know what's going to happen to the characters. And I think it taking some inspiration from films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as well as Halloween, does work. And when you kind of got the elderly couple, Pearl and Howard, I think their characters do work, as you can tell they do a lot of snooping around, and later on, after filming's done, we see how they go out in all their way to take them out one by one, picking them off as flies. And I think it taking place in 1979 does work, as the 70s were a time when a lot of doors, possibilities, and new things were being opened. And when you do have them sort of trying to film their pornographic film, it kind of jokes with the whole typical jazzy music, characters trying to act like they're kind of Donna Matrix in the films, the sort of ones you do see now on YouTube and other sites now. And I think that really does work, as it's joking with how silly and just kind of poorly acted some pornographic films were. And I kind of think, also having a past Power Ranger actor, James Galen, who plays the sheriff at the opening and the end, does work. Because, one, if you remember, James Galen was also known for playing in Power Rangers Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, RPM, as well as Dino Charge. So it's kind of interesting how they did get back a past Power Ranger actor to play a certain role. And I think it with X is that it's not bad predictable, but it's more like paying respect to the 70s horror predictable. Like, Maxine is gonna survive. There's more truths about her character than there is. And I know there was also a prequel known as Pearl that was meant to tell the origin of what happened before the events of X, and how Pearl became the way she was. And there is plans to be a sort of sequel called Man X Lin, which is meant to take place during the 1980s. So obviously we might get a more reference to the old 80s horror, where kind of things weren't really badly predictable, but more like knowing what it wanted to be predictable. And I think X goes back to the 70s perfectly, like showing the kind of 70s predictable horror, showing how some X-rated actors badly portrayed in pornographic films. And I think it's a film that's paying respect to what it was meant to be. So I think this film definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Book Reviewer here, signing out.